Hi everybody, this is Heather with the Friends of the Page Walker board. Ooh, the train is already going by. So as promised, we are kicking off the holidays with a holiday history tour of downtown Cary. Now, you've probably already seen some of the photos we've been posting of downtown Cary. It looks absolutely amazing every year, but this year in particular, it's drawing crowds from other cities. We've talked to people already who came here from Chapel Hill, who came here from Raleigh, who came here from Durham, who just want to see what downtown Cary looks like with all the holiday lights. So I'm going to show you the lights, but more than that, I want to tell you some of the history of Cary Christmases past. So we actually collected the top 10 Christmas memories that you will only have if you've Christmased in Cary. So we're going to share those with you. I would encourage you to share your own memories with us. You can share them in the comments. Let us know your favorite Cary Christmas memories. And I'm also going to tell you the history of some of the beautiful historic houses that we're going to pass by while they're all decorated for the holidays. So that's the plan for tonight. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it around and show you the first site. Just back up so you can see it well. So we had a Christmas tree lighting, which is a Cary tradition. Obviously things are different this year because of the pandemic, but this has not changed. We still have this enormous Christmas tree. In fact, downtown Park literally looks like a scene from a Hallmark movie. The entire downtown really does. I'm gonna turn it around. Now, for some reason, the lights are not on right now. Well, they're a little bit on, so we'll see if those get bigger throughout the night, because that should be glowing red and green like the photos that we've put out. But downtown Park is just completely decked. You've got this beautiful white fence, and you've got look at this, kids coming to see the tree. This is just a very magical part of the town. And in fact, trees are all up and down Academy Street and downtown Cary in general. So I'm gonna start with walking around the park. Now, the park is a newer addition to Cary, but it's actually become a tradition to come to downtown Park. And I'll show you some of the reasons why. We're gonna go take a look at the fountain. We also have Chinese lanterns that have appeared around downtown Cary. Most of you probably know this. But if you haven't had a chance to come into downtown to see, my antlers are getting admired by the children. If you haven't had a chance to come down here and see, there are Chinese lanterns from the North Carolina Chinese Lantern Festival all around downtown Cary. We'll look at some of those as part of the tour too. The Chinese Lantern Festival has really become a tradition in the past several years. And it was canceled this year, but then they decided to hide some lanterns around downtown. Let's go take a look at this. So the whole park is full of the sound of music. Christmas music plays. I'm going to show you one of the prettiest views in the park. Really, Chad? That's a good memory, working at Ashworth's. So you can see the park is a much beloved place for visiting. Oh, I'm so worried about her falling in. Here's the view in one of our photos. And I'm gonna wait till the lights on that go red and green. Ooh, I missed it. We will see that red and green before the end of the night. The other tradition in downtown Cary, hopefully you can hear me over the music, is putting up these little trees. So there is a holiday tradition of community people and organizations putting up trees. This is the Cary Veterans. You can see these trees are all up and down Academy Street and around the park. And there's a mailbox where kids can come send letters to Santa. All of these traditions have remained. Absolutely beautiful. So, oh yes, I wanted to mention, it seems to me like the lights of the lantern do a light show with the music. Okay, I'm gonna show you the lantern one more time because it's cool. And then we're gonna go look at the historic buildings. But this is great. I have to see something. Hold on, I want to see my antlers with this. Oh yes, look at that. Very holiday-y. All right, so that's a much better look at the fountain. So the first thing we're gonna look at over here is the Cary Art Center. And then we're gonna wander down Academy Street and I'm gonna show you some of these historic houses. By the way, the traffic is crazy in downtown tonight. I did not come prepared for this kind of traffic. It's bumper to bumper. All right, gonna cross. Pedestrians cross, thank you. All right, made it across the street. Now that you guys can probably hear me better, again, some of you I see are already sharing your holiday memories of Cary. Please continue to share those memories in the chat. We might use them for our Cary Memories blog or social media this year, so please do share those memories. To me, this is one of the classic, it's like the crown. Ooh. It's like the crown of Academy Street. Now I'm gonna go up closer and take a peek in. And we're gonna wait for that to pass. And again, I'm gonna start sharing memories, memories that you will only have if you Christmased in Cary. But first, let's take a look. So, this is a neoclassical revival building. You can see that it looks very unique compared to a lot of the more modern buildings. And I'm sure most of you know this was Cary High School. And I'm sure most of you don't know, but my grandmother attended high school here at Cary High. So this was the high school, and in fact, many of the buildings that you see, well, not many, but several of the buildings that you see down Academy Street, they were part of the school or related to the school in some way. For example, we'll pass a building that actually served as the dorms for the students here. So students could actually stay, kind of live on campus, as it were. People shared with me who went to school here that they remember in the 1940s, before Cary had a library, and they would be so excited because there was a bookmobile that would come along, maybe, I don't know, maybe once a week or once a month. And it would come down Academy Street and it would bring books for you to choose from. So they didn't have a library yet. And kids were very excited to see the bookmobile coming. Something I hope we can instill in our kids today. A love of reading and an excitement for books. So this being the high school, it played many, many historic roles in Cary. In fact, this was one of the schools that helped lay the groundwork for integrating schools once segregation was over. So it played a very important role in that. Also, I shared pictures a while back on the Friends of Paige Walker with wooden topped school buses, very, very antique looking school buses. And I think it was in the 1930s that those became the first school buses, and it allowed this school to be inhabited by mostly local students because students could now get busing to and from their closest school. They didn't have to come and stay here in the dorms anymore. Hopefully you guys can hear me. If I ever get too quiet because of the racket of the traffic, please let me know. And again, we have more of these beautiful trees decorated by the community, which I think is what's perfect. You can go to each tree and it'll have the personality. Searstone Retirement Community. Oh, my grandmother-in-law. That is where she lives. Oh, look, it's people who, probably people who either work there or maybe who live there. Probably the people who work there. So over here, this is the Sam Jones house. Some of you probably know it as a restaurant, but it's actually a historic house. And it's a one-story Queen Anne cottage, and it's said to have been built around 1890. I'm gonna try to get across while I can. 1890. All right, slow down for crossers. Whoop, thank you. So if you can imagine, that was built prior to the 1900s, and it's still standing here today. Many of the houses here are still standing after many, many years. And as I said, this was actually related to Cary High. It was an associate of Frank Page, and it's very loud, I'm sorry. It was occupied by several principals of Cary High at various times. So the principal would live right there, and then you would just go up here. I'm gonna try to get to where there's less noise and where there's more sights. And they light up shoes. So one of the most prominent Cary Christmas memories that has been shared with us. Who here remembers the reindeer? Say in the comments if you remember going and petting and seeing the reindeer at South Hills Mall. That music is hopping. So one of the first and most classic Cary holiday memories is going to South Hills Mall, probably to holiday shop as well, but also they would bring reindeer. They brought the reindeer from out of state. I believe it was Wyoming. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Wyoming. And you could come and you could pet the reindeer and see Santa, and they gained so much popularity that they actually created a reindeer, like a cartoon reindeer outfit that someone wore. And so you'd go and you'd see the fake reindeer in his costume, and you could go see the real reindeer. It's something that was so unique. The owners of South Hills Mall, I spoke with them to do an article on the reindeer at South Hills, and it was something that they wanted to offer because nobody else would have anything like that. Local malls like Crabtree and North Hills, Cameron Village just would not be able to compete with South Hills. All right, so over here, so I'm telling you, the reindeer is something that you definitely wouldn't have that memory unless you came and did some Christmas stuff in Cary. So over there, if I can get over there, you can tell that it's very popular this time of year because look at the crowds. I'm gonna try to safely navigate the streets. Oh, this person's just not looking out. All right, let's take a look at the lanterns over here. Rodney the reindeer. Thank you, Cary. Rodney the reindeer. By the way, for those of you who want to read some of these Christmas memories, we shared a blog of the top 10 Cary Christmas memories that was written by Cary here. If you want to see some of those memories in writing and some pictures. Another big attraction at South Hills Mall, and again, let me know if you guys remember this or if I'm just like the only person who remembers these things. There was Tom's Trains at South Hills Mall as well. So you'd go and you'd see the reindeer, and then you could also see the beautiful elaborate train set. And by the way, the beautiful elaborate train set is still there in South Hills Mall's lobby. I believe that it is smaller than it probably was in its golden days, but it's still there and worth going to take a look at. The entire entrance of South Hills Mall really looks like something out of a Christmas movie. So these are some of the lanterns that are out here. And you can see downtown Cary really keeping holiday traditions alive. The Lantern Festival was canceled, but we still have lanterns here. And they move. Look. Look, it's gonna look at you. So they shake their heads a little bit. Interesting. So people are asking when the video is going to start. That's very strange because it started. I hope people are able to find this video okay. If some of you, maybe, I know Bob, I know you're watching, you might want to post on the page and let people know the video is going on right now for people to watch. Another Christmas memory that a lot of people in Cary remember. Now, I regret to admit that I did not experience this memory, but it was the luminaries. Many people who grew up in Cary, probably in the, I would imagine, the 60s and 70s, but maybe the 80s and 90s as well. Putting together luminaries was just a huge part of the holidays. You would put them together at your church. You would assemble them with your family. And then the luminaries, it's not to say people don't do luminaries nowadays. But back then, on Christmas Eve, you could go out and drive around Cary, and there would just be luminaries everywhere. It was more of a thing that more people took part in. So the luminaries were once a tradition. We are on the page that came up for the reminder. I'm not sure why people are having trouble finding this. I think we're going to have to share the video so that people will be able to find this video who are searching for it right now. So here's the lanterns. These are my personal favorite are probably the red pandas that are down there. But these are my second favorite. If you haven't seen the lanterns, please come downtown and see the lanterns. They're amazing and they're worth coming down here to see. By the way, we are looking at the lot of the old Cary Library. And I'm sure most of you remember going to that library. But that library has an even more deep history, which we're going to look at in a little bit. But that library was not always here. First, it was a bookmobile, like I told you, in the 1940s. But eventually, the library got big enough and organized enough that it was able to find a permanent home. And it was in Serendipities. So what is today Serendipities, if you've gone there and gotten a sandwich, you're actually sitting in what was the former library. And we do have pictures online of when Serendipity was the library with librarians and kids. It was really quite a sight to behold. And it's one of those things that you probably pass by every day and have lunch. I mean, I have lunch there all the time. And I didn't know for a long time the extremely deep history of that building. It's not just a sandwich shop, which is in itself a tradition, eating at Serendipities, but the tradition goes back even further. So I wanted to show this. Probably most of you know this as Cotton House. So this is Cotton House, which is currently a place where you can go and have a beer or have a drink. But this is actually before it was Cotton House, way before it was Cotton House. It was the Passmore House. And the Passmore House, you can see, I mean, you can kind of tell it's a historic house just by looking at it. This is the Passmore House, and it was one of the dormitories that I mentioned. So students would live right there and then go to school right there. So if you can imagine Academy Street, which named after academics, you would have students living here, you would have a principal living on the corner, and then you would actually have people going to school right there. The bells. Now you see Charlie Gaddy. My mom always points this out to me. She loved Charlie Gaddy. He was, I guess, one of her favorite news journalists or anchors. And we've got Charlie Gaddy Lane right here. The bells came at just the right time because we're approaching one of Cary's historic churches. So downtown Cary has two, it has more than two historic churches, I should say. There are many historic churches in Cary. But right here on Academy Street, there are the two that people would know of in this area. So First Baptist Church, very iconic. I believe the one that we probably just heard the bells from. Here's another beautiful house. Just driving down here, you can see the old houses. The Maiden Inn just looks beautiful. I know this is not historic, but it's built to look historic, so it fits in nicely. First Baptist Church. It's next to the Esther Ivy House. That's probably what I was just walking past. That was probably the Esther Ivy House. And this was established by a Reverend Blackwood in 1874. So 1874, this church has gone back a long way here in Cary. Many people who I speak with who have grown up here in Cary, they remember going to either this church or the one right across the way. And this might be one of the places where they would assemble luminaries. Looks absolutely beautiful. They've got it shining for the holidays. When you're looking for history, the churches are really a good place to go, because even if history wasn't documented by the community, the churches will normally document their own history. And since their history goes back so far into the 1870s, you could actually find a lot of history just documented in the church. Okay, now I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. This is the Yarborough House. And the reason I know it is because it's got the little extra wing there. So the Yarborough House, this is where Dr. Yarborough would have lived. If you watched our Halloween tour, then you would have seen the story of his daughter, Mary Yarborough, who had a tragic death, died at only 11 years old. And her father, who was a doctor, probably the best doctor in town, or at least one of the best doctors, he could do nothing to save her. And so her headstone is literally a carving of her head in Hillcrest Cemetery, and for a long time it had even blue orbs in the eyes. Now I want to point out, and this is just the remnants of history. It has nothing to do with the house as it is today. But the reason that you have this extra little arm attached to the house here is that it was the segregated entrance. So in fact, downtown Cary, one of the great things about downtown Cary is that we've saved a lot of our history. So you can see remnants even of darker parts of our history, like segregation, which in a sense, you want to make sure that we don't completely forget that part of our history. And so this arm, that shows back when Cary was segregated, and that's a part of that. The Cary Theater also has a bricked up door. If I go past it, I'll show you, but the Cary Theater, I'm gonna let people pass. The Cary Theater has a bricked up door, which is kind of hidden, but if you know where to look, you'll see the bricked up door, and that was also the other entrance that now, of course, there is no longer a use for. Here is a beautiful house. If you haven't come by to see this house, you should. Love the trees here. So we have Cary's gingerbread house, or the pink house, or the Guess Ogle house. Many different terms for this beautiful, look at it decorated. I mean, this house was made to be decorated for the holidays. Many people know this as the pink house or Cary's gingerbread house. Or the doll house. I've heard it referred to as Cary's doll house. I wonder if I can get closer to it. Maybe I'll stay over here for now. You guys can see it. No, I'm gonna get closer. Let's see if I can safely cross the traffic. One thing I'm really happy to see is so many people coming to see Cary for the holidays. For our town, for our downtown to be drawing so many people, it's very good. Again, wearing masks and being safe. It's very good for our local businesses and just for Cary in general. That's right, Cary, yes. And Cary Mead, she's also, if you see her commenting, she is also a board member who does a lot of work with the social media. So she might fill in some gaps as I'm walking and talking. If I forget something, take a look at her comments. This is just a beautiful house. If you've ever seen photos of the inside of this house, at Christmas, Sheila Ogle really does it up. It's just beautiful in there. Every now and then, not during the pandemic, she opens her house to the public so that people can take a look inside. But just look at it. I mean, that's a picture right there.
Yep.
Speaking of pictures, I'm going to show you guys a picture that was taken. That's beautiful too. A picture that we recently took while out here doing social media coverage of Ashworth's that came out very beautifully. And in fact, many people have asked for copies of the photo. And I'm working with a local company, a local artist, who is actually printing the photo, the high quality photo, high resolution photo onto beautiful little ornaments. So they're $15 and they're a $15 donation. Proceeds go right to Friends of Paige Walker. So if you're looking for a unique and local Christmas gift that really celebrates Cary during the holidays and really celebrates local history, that's a great gift because it's a picture of our local history during a beautiful time. But it also, the money directly supports local Cary businesses, local Cary artists, and supports the Friends of Paige Walker and the history-based content that we bring you. And in fact, the Friends of Paige Walker, we do use that money on things like upgrading our equipment so that we can more easily bring you high quality photos and pictures and videos and more safely bring them by getting things like microphones to more thoroughly educate the public. We also do a lot of work with donating to help historic houses who maybe need repairs or fix-ups, and we'll always post about those. Looking at the beautiful, this is homemade ice cream. So we have this here from a local company. Absolutely beautiful tree. And now we're going into Ashworth Village. There is a kind of an unofficial tradition in Ashworth Village at once in a blue moon. And they sell this pab bread, peanut butter apple bread, and they've been doing it the same exact recipe for it's over 30 years. So they're saying generations, literally there are parents who ate the bread growing up who are now sharing it with their kids. And when they bake it, they bake hundreds of loaves at a time because they have to accommodate the demand. And the scent of pumpkin apple fills Academy Street. So many people who grew up spending time in this area might remember the smell of the pumpkin apple bread. The recipe literally hasn't changed for 3 decades or more. My throat is getting a little dry from the dry air out here, and I'm going to try to do my best. So serendipity. So I will say this, my mom and dad, one of their own traditions, just going to show the lights, beautiful. One of their own traditions was going to Serendipity to get a sandwich. They absolutely loved the sandwiches there. And I was surprised to find out, and I already said this, but I'm going to say it again while looking at the building, that was Cary's library. So we have the library we think of, which was down there near Charlie Gaddy Street. But now we can look at what the library was in before that. And you can see, of course, it's much smaller. And before it was here in Serendipity, Garden Pocket. Yes. If you eat at Serendipity, let us know what's your favorite sandwich there. Do you have a favorite? I know Bob Leah's favorite. If you can imagine how much smaller the library was, and then again, before it was even in a building, it was just a bookmobile, a cart that came up and down Academy Street, and the kids would wait to see that cart coming by. So this is Serendipity, and like I said, this was one of Cary's early libraries. I do believe that it was in one place before here. So it was a bookmobile, and then it was in another building that no longer exists, a very small room, and a building that was in Ashworth Village. In fact, Daphne Ashworth, she was one of the main people behind bringing a library to Cary. So you can thank the Ashworth family for many, many things, and we're going to go look at them next. But the library is also one of those things to thank them for in Cary's culture. And if you can imagine the modern day library, which we can't see from here, but you know how huge it is and how high tech it is. And to imagine it being in this little building where we now go and have a little cafe lunch is kind of hard to imagine. And like I said, there are pictures online of the library when it was there, so you can see what it looked like inside. You can see the kids reading with librarians. I just love looking at old photos, archival photos, to see what Cary used to look like. And in fact, one thing I noticed last year, here's First Methodist. So when I talked about the two churches that were directly in downtown on Academy Street, First Methodist and First Baptist, though there are many other historic churches in Cary, but these two are often spoken about. All right, we're coming up on Ashworth's, and I want to show you guys the beautiful, beautiful scene from Ashworth's during the holidays. So last Christmas, I wrote an article about downtown Cary at Christmas, and I found out there were no photos anywhere. There weren't even historic photos of downtown Cary at Christmas. Sam, that is a great question. You're right. So, you're right. Thank you for mentioning that. Serendipity wasn't just the library. Serendipity has had several incarnations. And in fact, last year I wrote a story about serendipity and all of the things that have been in that building. And one of them was Dr. Thompson's office. So yeah, serendipity has been a doctor's office. It's been a library. It is much more than just a local brunch spot. So I'm going to try to get across. Again, the traffic downtown is immense, which is wonderful. It's a wonderful thing to have so much traffic, so many people coming to Cary. I wrote an article about downtown Cary the other day, and it did very well. It had many, many, many readers. So I'm trying to help spread the word about all the wonderful things going on down here. And we're gonna go take a look. So I'm gonna show you the picture of Ashworth's in fact, I do know that you're gonna see the picture of Ashworth's. The town of Cary contacted me, and it's gonna be on the little flyer or informational newsletter that they send out in the mail. So you'll see a picture there. But if you want to have your own copy of it, we are selling copies of it for $15. And again, the proceeds go directly to Cary History. So it's a really great gift. This is very interesting. The building of Ashworth's, like many of the other places we've talked about, this place has so much more history than many people even realize. Now, of course, we know Ashworth's is a historic pharmacy, but there was a pharmacy here before Ashworth's was here. So Mr. Ashworth, Ralph Ashworth, he bought this out of the previous pharmacy, and there was a pharmacy right across the street, which is today the Pharmacy Bottle and Brewing. So that was also a pharmacy. There were two pharmacies, which was pretty amazing for Cary at the time. It was a very small town. And then there were the two churches right here at Academy Street, and you'd go to school down at the end, and the principal lived in the corner house by the school, and you had places for the students to live. It was just, well, it's always sort of been the heart of Cary. All right, I'm going to show you. Look at this. Just look at it. We're not at the picture yet, but look at how beautiful Ashworth's is. It looks like a Christmas card. When I saw this the other night, I was driving past, and I literally pulled over because I had to get a photo of this. All right, I'm going to cross. And there's going to be another lantern over here to look at too. You can see a little bit down Chatham Street. Well, the headlights block it. And then right down there, you can't see it as well from here, but there's another huge Christmas tree right down there. And it's multicolored down by Town Hall. Absolutely beautiful. So here, I love hearing the church bells go. That lets me know that I've been streaming for a while, guys. All right. So I may not be able to go out as far in the street. Let's see if I can. So here is a very nice holiday view of Ashworth. Thank you, Sam. Mitchell's Pharmacy. While I'm streaming, I don't always remember every detail. So you can see, of course, straight down Academy Street, looking beautiful. And then this just looks like a Christmas card to me. and you come down at an angle like this and look at it, it's absolutely, to me, the epitome of Christmas. So that's the photo of Ashworth's that you'll see coming to you in the mail from the town of Cary. But also you can have an ornament with that image on there and help support our endeavors in protecting Cary history. So here is another lantern. Oh, I wanted to mention about Ashworth's. That's right, it just hit me. So before, I think, yeah, even before Ashworth was Ashworth. So that building was built in the 1930s. I believe it might have been 1930 on the dot, but I'm not certain. At least 1930s. And the upstairs, so I wrote about this before, you may have read my article, but there's a secret staircase that goes up there, and that staircase has been untouched for decades. And there's still, you can literally still see the foot marks, like the scuffs of footprints from the Cary leaders that have gone up and down those stairs, because it was a place where the Masons would meet. And so, I mean, the Masons played a huge role in Cary history and helping support Cary businesses. And the Masons would go up that side staircase that goes to the upstairs of Ashworth's. And the entire upstairs is hardwood floors, scuffed up with history. I'm so happy that the Ashworth family has kept it that way. They're preserving the history that's up there. And you can literally still see this. I mean, Mr. Ashworth told me himself and showed me the pictures. You can see the scuffs of the footprints of the Cary leaders, the Masons, the people who were, you know, prominent business owners and who were mayors, leaders, people who would have helped shape Cary. Their footprints are still on that little hidden staircase that a lot of people don't know is there. So we are coming almost to the end here. Over there is the Cary Theater. I'm certain that it looks beautiful this year. It's kind of bright. Let's see if I can get you close to the, there's another lantern down here, the red panda, which is my favorite. And then of course there's the beautiful Christmas tree that's down here. And again, if you have memories from growing up in Cary, and I don't mean growing up in Cary like the past, 50 years, though that is wonderful if you have memories spanning back that far. But even if you grew up here in Cary in the 90s or the 2000s, that's going to be history as well. So please share with us in the comments, share with us your favorite memories of having Christmas in downtown Cary. We do have an article. I'm gonna look at Ashworth one more time because it's so pretty. We do have an article about Cary Christmas memories and the top 10 memories that you'll have of Christmas, only if you had Christmas in Cary. So that's something to take a look at. It's on the Friends of Paige Walker website. I'm trying to take a look for it right now so I can share the link with you. Let's see. All right, pulling it up for you while we take a look. We're gonna walk down here. The other night we were down here and it was just perfect because the train went by and it was like the Holiday Express. All right. So please do, oh, I do love this. The kitchen store on the corner was built as a Piggly Wiggly. What? See, Cary knows her history of Cary. I did not even realize there was a Piggly Wiggly down here. That's wonderful. I'd love to do an exploration of that history. Another Cary Christmas memory is just seeing the fountain display. And then, oh, another one, the JC's parade. Many people shared with us that seeing the JC's parade is one of their favorite parts of Cary Christmas. Victorian Christmas at the Paige Walker, if you've seen that, it's beautiful. The Paige Walker, I'm sure many of you know, is over there by Town Hall. It's an absolutely beautiful structure and one of Cary's most historic structures. Frank Page and his family lived there, and they're sort of known as the father of Cary. interestingly, I'd be interested to know how many of you know where Cary got its name. And don't feel bad if you don't, because I didn't. So think for a minute, see if you can think about when Cary got its name, or sorry, I got distracted by people behind me. See if you can think about where Cary's name came from. I'm sure some of you know it. All right, so Cary got its name from Samuel Cary, who was a traveling preacher, and he made such an impact on Frank Page, who had poured so much into Cary history. Let's go take a look at this. That he decided to name the burgeoning community after this preacher. The irony, at least to me, I think it's funny. The irony is that Samuel Cary really preached prohibition and not drinking any alcohol at all. So I think it'd be funny for him to see modern day Cary, which has very many wonderful breweries that bring a lot of culture and money to downtown Cary and a lot of people. That's right, Samuel Fenton Cary. Bobley has got it. I wonder how he knew. So this is beautiful. I didn't know this was here until I drove by here the other night. This is just beautiful. So if you come down here to look around, don't miss this site right here. Right by Town Hall. Just beautiful. Other people shared that they really remember, well, the Chinese Lantern Festival, which we're fortunate to have Chinese lanterns out here in downtown. And again, just, oh gosh, the Cary Theater's White Christmas Sing-Along. Now, I have not taken part in that, but many people said that that was something, a memory that they treasured. So there's another one for you. If you have, that's right, Bradford's Ordinary was the first name of the community before we took on the name Cary. Clearly have some Cary historians here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. If you are a photographer, I'm going to turn this around and talk to you for a minute. If you are a photographer, look at my, I was festive tonight. Oh, this is probably why so many kids have been running up to me. I didn't think about it, but they're probably seeing my blinking antlers here. So if you've lived in Cary a long time, or even if you haven't lived here very long, it's all the same. Knowing the culture and the history behind so many of these buildings, especially in downtown, have so much history. And one great thing about Cary is we've kept some of these buildings. Downtown has many historic buildings that are still standing. They haven't been torn down for new developments, and it allows you to get a very good view of how Cary has looked throughout history. It hasn't completely changed. The Cary Theater, like I said, still has the hidden door from back during the Jim Crow era, and those are the kinds of things that allow history to be kept so that we remember it and also remember what we need to avoid doing in the future. You know, Ashworth's is still there, even pharmacy, naming themselves after a pharmacy. There's a lot of great history down here, and this time of year, it's such a quaint area with all of these holiday lights to really just come, look around, appreciate the historic houses and the historic view. I am going to sign off the live stream, but I'm going to put up a picture of one more historic house, the Ivy Ellington, because it's beautiful at Christmas. It's just a little too far to walk during the live stream, so keep an eye out for that. Again, if you want to help us this Christmas and get a nice gift for your family, we are going to have those photos of Ashworth's at Christmas. They are actually very popular. A lot of people are buying them. We have prints that we can print glossy 8x10s, or you can buy an ornament. And you'll also see the photo in the Town of Cary's little newsletter that they're sending out to homes. It'll be a physical newsletter that's coming out to homes. So it's being used for a lot of things. If you buy one of those prints of Ashworth's at Christmas, that money will directly support local businesses, local artists, and Friends of Page Walker. So it's all just supporting local, which, as we know, especially after 2020, there's a lot of need for that kind of support. So take a look for those. keep following us. If you haven't followed us on Facebook, please do. We put out really interesting blogs of like forgotten Cary history and little known Cary history, so that the next time you're walking through downtown, you'll be like, oh yeah, Serendipity's used to be a doctor's office, and before that it used to be the library. And you'll have that kind of information, which just enriches your experience here. And we do blogs every month. If you have any ideas for something you would love to see us explore or tell the history of, please let us know. Send us a message, comment on our posts, and if you have Christmas memories, please comment your Christmas memory, share that with us, and we can be able to use that to help with our Christmas content, to help, well, share your memory and make it a very interactive and engaging experience. So let us know your memories, and they're an important part of Cary history too. History is very personal, so your memories of Cary, even if you've only been here since the 90s, that's going to be history. So please let us know. Every memory is important. Every person helped build the history of where Cary is today, and that's something that we really try to make sure is apparent in all of our content and all of our videos. So I hope you really enjoyed this holiday tour and the lights and the stories, and we will see you in January for more Cary history. Thank you so much. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye.